All right, we'll call the meeting of the City of Hayes Commission meeting on Thursday, August 11th, 2022 to order. First item in the order of business is the consideration of the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting on July 28th, 2022. Any changes or comments?
I have none.
None, they will stand as written. Any citizen comments? No? No consent agenda? All right, next item will be the annexation of city-owned property at 1732 West 41st Street. Jesse.
Good evening, Jesse Rohr, Director of Public Works. A couple items for me tonight on the agenda, both dealing with the same parcel of property. The first one we're going to talk about is the annexation of the property known as 1732 West 41st Street. The property is located between Hall Street and the 183 bypass along the south side of 41st Street. This property is currently outside city limits, but it is contiguous to current city property. This is a consensual annexation. State statute allows about 7 or 8 different ways to do annexations. This is about the most simplest way to do it. All utilities are in place to serve the property, and no new street infrastructure is needed to serve the property as well. You might recognize this property as the location of the proposed fire station for the city of Hayes. Again, not a lot to talk about regarding the annexation. It's quite simple. Your options would be to annex the property or not, and this would be the action requested on the actual annexation before I get into the next item.
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 4014, annexing the property at 1732 West 41st Street as legally described within the adopting ordinance.
Seconded.
Motion by Commissioner Musil, second by Commissioner Burgess. Any questions or comments? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. All right, rezoning of city-owned property at 1732 West 41st Street from agricultural AL to public and institutional district PI.
Okay, so this is the second of the 2 items regarding this property. This one's a little bit more in depth, so I'll go through it. So this is for the rezoning of the same tract. As I mentioned a minute ago, this is the proposed tract for the proposed fire station for the city of Hayes. And I just wanted you to keep in mind, as we told the Planning Commission, and I'll tell the governing body as well, as we go through this, try not to make a decision based on this use as a fire station, but rather consider all the uses that I'll show for the property. There was an application submitted by the city of Hayes to rezone this property from its current state as ag zoning to public and institutional district. I'll describe that district here in just a minute and kind of explain a little bit more about that. The city has owned the property for several years, and there's currently a city water well on the property and a booster station. And it's currently, what's not fenced off for the water well is ag production, just like the surrounding property. This property, as well as the adjacent property, is identified as low density residential on the comprehensive plan, as you can see on the map on the right. Everything in the yellow shaded color is low density residential. The map on the left is our current zoning map. So you can see there's some single family residential, kind of the yellow, the blue colors, and then the rest of it is ag in the green. The purpose of the public and institutional district is to provide for public owned and operated uses. So for example, government buildings, school buildings and facilities. You might see places of worship, libraries, cemeteries, recreation parks, things like that, post offices within a public and institutional district. Those types of uses are a little more unique in nature than your traditional commercial or residential uses, therefore fitting for a public and institutional district, but also often integrated within residential and commercial areas. The public and institutional district has 3 categories of uses, the first being uses that are permitted uses or uses allowed by right. Any of these uses require no further approvals from the governing body, Planning Commission, Board of Zoning, or staff if rezoned to public and institutional. The second category is what we call limited uses. These uses are allowed, but there might be certain administrative requirements, maybe buffering, certain landscaping requirements and such, before they could be located on a property zone, public and institutional. And the third category being uses that are allowed only by exception. So any of these uses cannot be located on the property zone public and institutional district unless they went through the process of a public hearing through the Board of Zoning Appeals and ultimately got the approval to do so. State statute does outline the specific options that you as a governing body have for a rezoning. You can approve it as was recommended unanimously by the Planning Commission. I do also want to mention that there was no one opposed at the public hearing at the Planning Commission. Second option would be send it back to the Planning Commission for further consideration with the reasons for doing so, or you could deny the request, which would oppose the Planning Commission, and if you do so, that would require a 2/3 majority vote of the City Commission. But this would be the action requested for the item.
I move we, excuse me, adopt ordinance number 4015, approving the change in zoning from agricultural district A-L to public and institutional district P-I for the 3.7 acres of land located at 1732 West 41st.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Jacobs, second by Commissioner Barrick. Any questions or comments? No?
It's the thing to do.
Pretty straightforward. Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
All right. Commission inquiries and comments. Commissioner Barrick.
It's hot.
You're right.
And yet, the school season's about to be upon us. So it'll be interesting to get all the Fort Hays kids back and the USD kids and the TMP kids all heading back to school next week. So everybody be prepared for that, whether you're a parent being prepared to get your kids there or everybody getting to work and back. There's going to be a lot more traffic, and everybody be aware.
Commissioner Jacobs.
That's a great point. One thing I always add to that is once the university students start coming back and you're on a one-way street, keep your eyes open because it will happen over and over again. We're anxious to have the students back, but I have nothing else. Thank you.
Commissioner Musil.
I'll add to that. Don't forget NCK also.
Absolutely.
Also, we want to welcome everybody. We got a lot of new people coming to our town, not used to our street, one-ways, roundabouts, so do our best to help them out. And, a lot of these little kids are excited about school, so they're not paying attention. Just slow down and be patient, and let's enjoy a good school year for these kids.
Commissioner Burgess.
Everything this evening.
Yeah, only thing I have is, as a full-time student myself, I'm looking forward to this semester.
Fine, still.
I'm still in school. It's almost been 37 years. No, it's exciting to see everybody come back. Wonderful to have everybody back on campus and back in our community. They're a huge part of us, so it's good to see everybody come back and drive on our nationally recognized, award-winning corridor, which is great to receive another national award for that. So kudos to staff and everybody that was involved in that. Other than that, I have nothing. Enjoy your weekend. It's going to be a fun one. All right. And we will adjourn at 6:38.
Good job.